Have you ever noticed how some children naturally count on their fingers while whispering numbers under their breath, while others seem to shut down completely when faced with a math worksheet? What if I told you that the key to helping these struggling young learners might be as simple as encouraging them to talk through their math problems out loud? Picture this common classroom scene. Little Emma sits at her desk, staring at basic addition problems. Her pencil hovers over the paper, but nothing happens. She feels frustrated, maybe even convinced she's not a math person at age 5. Meanwhile, across the room, Marcus is quietly talking himself through the same problems, saying things like, 3 plus 2. I'll start with 3 and count up. 4, 5, so that's 5 total. Marcus finishes confidently, while Emma remains stuck. Here's what's fascinating. Research in cognitive psychology shows us that when children verbalize their mathematical thinking, they're actually engaging multiple areas of their brains simultaneously. This process, called math out loud, can transform how young learners understand numbers, patterns, and problem solving from pre-kindergarten through 3rd grade. The solution is surprisingly simple. We need to teach children to become their own math narrators, walking through each step of their thinking process, using their voice as a learning tool. Let me break this down into 4 key components that make math out loud so powerful. First, encourage step-by-step narration. When children say, I have 5 apples, and I'm adding 3 more apples, so I need to count 5, 6, 7, 8, they're creating what neuroscientists call a verbal pathway to mathematical understanding. The act of speaking engages the language centers of the brain, which then communicate with the areas responsible for numerical processing. This dual engagement strengthens memory formation and helps concepts stick. Second, teach children to verbalize their problem-solving strategies. Instead of just getting an answer, have them explain their approach. A child might say, I'm going to use my counting bears to figure this out because I can see and touch them while I count. This metacognitive awareness, or thinking about thinking, builds confidence and helps children recognize that there are multiple ways to solve problems. Third, incorporate rhythm and patterns into math talk. When children chant skip counting like 2, 4, 6, 8, who do we appreciate? They're using the natural musical elements of language to encode mathematical sequences. The auditory cortex processes these rhythmic patterns differently than visual information, creating additional neural pathways for mathematical understanding. Fourth, create space for mathematical conversations. Instead of silent math time, encourage children to work in pairs, where they can explain their thinking to each other. When 6-year-old Sarah explains to her partner why she knows that 4 plus 4 equals 8 by saying, I can make 2 groups of 4 fingers, and when I count them all, I get 8. She's reinforcing her own understanding while building communication skills. Now, I know what you might be thinking. This sounds like it would be too noisy and distracting for a classroom. I was skeptical about this approach myself when I first learned about it. How could talking actually help children focus on math? But here's what the research reveals. Children with auditory processing differences, dyslexia, or visual impairments often struggle with traditional, visual-heavy math instruction. For these learners, math out loud isn't just helpful, it's essential. When we give them permission to use their strongest learning channel, their mathematical understanding often improves dramatically. After implementing math out loud strategies, teachers report remarkable changes. Children who previously sat silently during math time begin participating actively. Parents notice their kids explaining math concepts at the dinner table. Most importantly, children start seeing themselves as capable mathematicians instead of struggling students. The key is consistency. Try implementing math out loud for just 15 minutes each day for the next month. Start with simple counting activities, then gradually introduce problem-solving narration. you'll likely notice that children become more engaged, more confident, and more willing to take mathematical risks. Remember, every child's brain is wired differently, and some of our most brilliant mathematical thinkers need to hear numbers and operations to truly understand them. When we honor auditory learning styles, we open doors that might otherwise remain closed. Small changes in how we approach early math education can create profound transformations in a child's entire academic journey.